Hello there. Is your website not doing what you want it to do? Maybe you need a new website. Then again, maybe you don't. Maybe the problem isn't your website. Maybe it's the fact that you're not getting anybody to your website that is the problem. Because a lot of the times I hear this from clients. They'll say, "Oh, my website's not doing anything. It's just sitting there." Yeah, a website is different from, say, a landing page. A landing page gets the person viewing it to go through a particular call to action. Now, your website might have a lot of calls to action. In fact, they typically do. So it's not really the best sales funnel to use if you're trying to convert leads into clients. And I believe that maybe this is a misconception by a lot of entrepreneurs who think that the website is the conversion point, and it's not. Um, Typically, nowadays, your average consumer is going to do some online research about a company before making a buying decision. And that's where your website comes in. If you have a website, they get to find out more information about you. This is a credibility piece. You have an established business, you have a company name. They're going there and checking you out. They want to make sure that you're legit, right? So that's one of the reasons why you want a website. But it's not, don't confuse your website for your sales funnel. It can be a part of your sales funnel, but again, I reiterate here because a lot of the times people are under the impression that their website is what is going to get them paying clients. But you have to have a lot of interaction with somebody before they typically buy. And if you don't, these people are at least, mm, I guess for lack of a better word, they're stalking you. They're checking you out. They're going to your YouTube channel and they're binge watching your videos, or they're scrolling through your feed on a social media platform to check out the content that you provide. So they're getting a feel for you even before you even have them on your radar sometimes. So that's where attraction marketing comes in. And this is how all of these pieces come together. So you have to you can't just build it and they'll come. Now, if you're really lucky and you're one of the top SEO specialists in the world, then maybe, just maybe, you'll have the good fortune of being on page one of Google for your ideal client searches. But for the rest of us millions of hopeful entrepreneurs, there needs to be another way that you're getting people to your website. So this is where all of these touch points come together. And touch points are including emails, websites, social media platforms, your book. If you've published a book, then that's a touch point. That's a way for them to know about you, for them to become familiar with you. So all of these things, you want them to connect together. That's another um, huge aspect of marketing is connection. And I will go into that in a different video. But for the sake of today's topic, I do want to just merely point this out that um, maybe you don't need a new website. In fact, for that matter, there might be a lot of other things that you have in place for your business right now that you're underutilizing, like your website or your content, or you might not realize the potential. Okay? So let me give you some examples of this. If you have recordings from past webinars that you've done, maybe you've done a live and interactive one, you can repurpose that recording. Or if you have some old YouTube videos that you're not really you placing much value upon them, even though those might be crucial stepping stones for your ideal client to leap onto in order to enter into your customer journey. So, I also see this a lot among my clients and my interactions with people is that they will have maybe they ran a summit in the past, or maybe they created a course a couple of years ago and they think, oh, it's outdated now. I don't even want to put it out there. It's embarrassing. Consider that the freshest, newest, shiniest content that you have available to you because we're all evolving and growing, maybe to you, because you have all this new knowledge and wisdom and experience, maybe you're dismissing that content, but that piece of content might be completely relevant to somebody who is your ideal client because they are not watching everything you do necessarily. I mean, some, if they're a raving fan, yes. Those are the people that you have to impress with your constantly evolving and putting out something new, right? But somebody who is just entering into your world, maybe that revelation that you had from 2 years ago that you recorded on a video, which you are now dismissing because when you're in your area of expertise and when you're in your core competency, you might not realize how extensive that knowledge is from an outside perspective who might be entering into this world for the first time. So while you dismiss that video going, oh, well, that's the old me. I've grown so much since then. I don't even want to publish that. What if just consider the possibility that if you did take that content and repackaged it in some way, maybe you need to edit it. Maybe you need to add some graphics to make it a little bit more upscale. Um, maybe you need to cut some people's, if people were talking to you and they interacted with you while you were on your webinar and you think, oh, well, that's sensitive information. I don't want to share that with the world. You can edit that out. You can just edit out that one little section where they're talking. So if you're concerned about, um, oh, they didn't sign something before they jumped into the webinar. Well, if you want to cover your butt, then you can delete them out. But let me also just say, when they enter into a Zoom meeting that is being recorded, they always have to check the box saying, yes, I acknowledge that this is being recorded. So, you know, just saying that might just cover you. So repurpose your old content and possibly, just possibly, you could take things like your old summits, webinars, past recordings, uh, yada, 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 whatever you have, right? If it's video content, consider that maybe, just maybe, you can package that into a course. In fact, that's what I'm going to do with my summits. So keep on the lookout for those if you're interested in watching the replays from some of my past summits. And this is touching on another point, which is I've also worked with people in the past who, out of respect for the people that paid the VIP upgrade to their summit, they took it down everywhere. And this is a common practice, you know. Um, you have a live free summit, and if you want to upgrade to VIP, then you get lifetime access to the recordings. That's typically how it's done. Or maybe it's a limited amount of access to the recordings if people are stingy. Um, sorry, bad joke. But anyway, a lot of times people will then shoot themselves in the foot by saying, "Oh, well, I don't want it to not be fair to the people who upgraded their VIP. So I'm not going to allow anybody else to have access to this content except for those, 10 people who upgraded or Whatever, right? But why are you limiting yourself? I have never heard of somebody suing a content creator because they gave access to their paid product to somebody else. And if that's a common thing, then please put a link. I'd love for you to share with me. I'd love to be informed about this because I have not seen an instance yet. So be less concerned about upsetting somebody over something like that. And if that is the case, then just make sure that whatever you're repurposing it into is also a paid product. So that'll kind of even that playing field if that's what you're concerned about. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going to offend people who paid VIP if you use your own content for your own profit. That's, that should be a given. You're the content producer and creator. And here's another thing. If somebody is speaking at your summit, you, well, I suppose this is a variable because maybe you didn't get them to sign something, but it's 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 typical for speakers to sign a agreement saying that they are granting you that recording. So it's not like I can take somebody else's slide deck and present that slide deck as if that was my content. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the actual recording of them speaking on your summit. If done correctly, you can retain the rights to that. And if you're not doing that with your events right now, make sure you start doing that. That's a good practice to cover your butt. Make sure that they acknowledge and agree upon this because you should be doing this anyways because if you're upgrading to VIP, then you're saying that you're granting access to this recording. So the speaker has to agree that you can do that. Now, what you need to do in your wording in your contract is to make sure that they also understand that you reserve the right to also use that content in uh, other instances, such as taking little clips of it and using that in your sizzle reel or in a promotion for an upcoming event or as a in for a testimonial or um if you're going to turn the summit into an evergreen course, which is what I highly recommend, then you reserve the right to use it for that. Okay? So old summits, old courses, old videos. And oh, here's another one, business pages. Okay, if you have a business page on Facebook or LinkedIn, or even if you have groups, if you're the host of the group, if you created the group and it's sitting there on Facebook and it's not doing anything, you don't have to take it down. It's mind-boggling to me. Somebody had like 20,000 followers on their business page. And because some marketing guru came along and said, oh, business pages are passe. You want your home page, your own profile to be your new business page. That person then turned around and said, oh, well, I guess I'll just delete my business page. No, don't do that. It has worth. You can keep your personal profile and your business page. It doesn't have to be an either or. I just spoke with somebody who said that they had several courses up on the Great Discovery, and that they hired a marketing manager, and the marketing manager is like, "Oh, I don't like that website, so let's take all your courses off of there and just only post them over here." Why? Why delete them? You've already got them up. That's the hard part. Don't remove it once it's already published. This goes for books too. You don't have to unpublish your book. Maybe it has several typos in it. Big deal. Leave it up there. Put out a second edition if you wanted to go back and improve it. Leave it published. That is for posterity. You don't have to be perfect in it. You can it's we all get it. We all get it, okay? We're all evolving and growing. We're all becoming better versions of ourselves. So you don't need to get rid of everything from the past just because you got better now. Does that make sense? Okay. Oh, and here's another, okay, sorry. Here's another example of of like, okay, so I'm slightly devastated because I was an admin for this business page, and um a friend of mine, we were working building on it together. We were building this business page together. It had grown to 5,000 followers, from 0 to 5,000. Don't underestimate your followers. You want them in place. If you start getting followers in any location, as long as you don't have to keep paying for some sort of membership, leave them there. Even if you're not even using that platform a whole lot, just leave them there. It's not going to hurt you to have more followers. And again, if you want to correct me, please, by all means, correct me. I'd rather be in the know, but to me, right now, this just seems like a no-brainer statement. So she took down the page because, oh, I hadn't been doing anything with it for the past 2 years. That is complete BS, and here's why. Even if she hasn't been actively getting clients from it, the fact of the matter remains, it is an established business page, which gives you credibility. It's been up for 2 years now, which also gives you credibility. And you have 5,000 followers. And now you have this captive audience. You have 5,000 followers that are receiving notifications every time you post on your business page. So why wouldn't you leave that business page up, even if you think it's not really doing much for you? Okay, you didn't get any clients out of it, but have you been interacting with those people? Have you been reaching out to those people? Have you been engaging with those people? That's part of this conversion model. So just because you have a business page that's been up and running and it hasn't been doing anything, you don't have to take it down because it hasn't gotten you anything yet. It has this potential, huge potential innate in it just for being there. All you have to do is tap into that correctly. So she removed the business page. I couldn't. I wish that I had been able to save it, but I couldn't. So that went away. But that really spurred me to create this video for you because I'm sorry, I'm a little bit passionate about this, but it was like, wow, why did you do that? Let me tell you exactly why you shouldn't do that. So that's what spurred me to do this video. What I want to say, what I want to try to bring home to you is to recycle, reuse, and repurpose your content. Take inventory of all of your assets. Take stock of everything you've done in the past, old courses, old writings, old books, old ebooks, uh, everything and anything that you have from your past. Bring that to the forefront. Take a look at it, and ask yourself, can I recycle, reuse, or repurpose this in any way? And even if it's a little snippet of something from the past, you could still, that's still in this realm. So you could go and get something that was a recording of an entire summit, and maybe you didn't have them sign the contract, so you can't use those recordings, but you can maybe take little snippets of somebody giving you a kudos at the end or something. You might have to reach out to that person and say, hey, can I use that as my testimonial? I don't see why they wouldn't unless they're vindictive or they're very, very private. But most people, if you ask, they'll probably just say, "Oh, yes, please, please do. Please share that. I don't care." So think about that. Think about when you're speaking, are there any little sound bites that you can clip out of there that maybe you said something brilliantly and or maybe somebody asked you a question and then you just gave the most eloquent answer. So to look for those little nuggets in your own work, in your own body of work. Consider yourself an artist. I declare that right as of today, you are no longer an entrepreneur, you are an artist. And everything that you've ever done is a part of your body of work. So think about it like that. How can you go back and reuse these little golden nuggets so that more people can be impacted by what you've already done? I believe that that wraps up my rant for today. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day. I hope you got something out of this. Take care.